It is now January, a notorious dumping month for horror movies. Basically, a studio has a film that they don't have high hopes in, and they push it out the door for January. I'm kinda surprised that this came out in January. 28 years later, The Bone Temple is a direct sequel to the prior film 28 years later, with no real time skip this time. Alex Garland returns to write the script while Nia DaCosta takes over directorial duties. The film follows on very closely to the prior one's ending. Spike is now in the Jimmy Gang, headed by Sir Lord Jimmy Crystal, played by Jack O'Connell. A group of Satanists headed by Crystal who believes himself to be the son of Satan. But that's only one plot, because like in the first film where it felt like two plots stitched together from end to start, this film merges two plots, the other one being Ralph Fiennes playing Dr. Ian Kelson, and his relation with the alpha-infected, Samson. So right off the bat, I want to say this film manages to feel rather small in scope. It's a very character-driven film, with there not even being many zombie scenes. You might recall that in the prior one, you had multiple scenes of dealing with the infected. Good or bad as some of those scenes may be, it's largely gone here. There's really only two meaningful zombie scenes in the film, but that isn't necessarily a bad thing. Some of the best zombie media out there is often more about the humans. In fact, the scenes with Dr. Kelson dealing with Samson are a highlight that reminded me heavily of Day of the Dead with Bub and Frankenstein. You watch Kelson manage to calm the beast down and ultimately start progressing towards a possible reversing of the virus. The whole time you're kept in suspense on if the creature is just going to kill Kelson. Honestly, some of the best scenes in this film are from Fiennes, including one very notable scene involving the number of the beast that was a simple joy to watch. Alternatively, everything with Crystal's group is much more brutal, as you see what he and his gang get up to, including a very brutal flaying scene that would make the Boltons proud. The character I was surprised to see so little of was Spike. He feels almost like a side character in all of it, with the majority of scenes and everything happening being from Kelson and Crystal. Hell, I'm pretty sure one of the other Jimmys who looks out for Spike is more of a main character than him. Still, not much of a negative, as what is here is really good. I was a little disappointed in how the scope has become even smaller since the last film. We don't learn much more or even see what's becoming of the baby left off at the end of the prior film. In fact, this movie introduces several new threads that could lead to an additional film. Last I heard, a third entry is dependent on the success of Bone Temple, but with how it ends and the handful of new revelations, it really sets up a third film. Many of the oddities from the prior film are simply not here. There's no cutting away the old footage, no 360 kill cams, but there are still plenty of dicks. Tons and tons of dicks. We also get an interesting view from the eyes of the infected, which raises some questions that, again, I hope will be answered in a follow-up. So I could see some people being upset at this not being much of a zombie film, as it comes off more like a post-apocalypse film, lacking many zombies and much more about the characters interacting with each other. But it's a pretty small scale that manages to carry a lot of weight. It's a lot like when you go to a nice restaurant, you get something and it's delicious, but you wouldn't want it every day or even the rest of the week. That's how I feel about this film, so I do highly suggest watching it, but know the scale is even smaller than 28 years later. Smaller, but with much more quality. So have you seen The Bone Temple? What did you think of it? Should there be a follow-up, or do you think the franchise is losing steam? Comment down below and I'll see you again whenever the next 28 property drops. Wouldn't it be funny if they went back and did 28 weeks later, and it had some sort of major revelation that altered the entire series?